player who was as resourceful and dedicated to studying the game as Mr. Zercon, and it really is no surprise.
Oh yeah, he's a lab rat.
Yeah. Oh, no, that's the thing. I actually remember being at a tournament, and they had he had his dad standing behind him with a camera phone, recording the set as they were playing, so that they could study it later on. And this was when he was in Loser. It was at a Platinum Star actually. So yeah, he's an incredibly dedicated player, and of course, shout outs to Mr. Zercon's dad, who's certainly a cool dude. I don't know if they're watching this, but yeah, you're cool for being a supportive parent. Either way,
yeah. Shout outs to all the Smash dads, Kirby Kid's dad, Mr. Zercon's dad, Chris, like all the dads in Smash.
Chris is the daddest of dads. If we're being completely honest. That's awesome. I didn't even mean anything weird like that. I was just saying, like,
no,
anyway.
I did.
No, dude.
So anyway, winners finals, Zercon versus Lights. Yeah, we're cut out for Zercon right now. It's already sitting at 135%. I mean, don't get me wrong, is it very capable of pulling things off with Isabelle, but even so, is this a bridge too far?
You know what? It's never like fair to like look at the tier list like when you're obviously playing a character that's like considered by many to be a low tier. Some would even call her the worst in the game, but I think Zercon knows that, and he's doing a pretty decent job here. Like, Isabelle did get a lot of really good buffs in the last few patches. Dash attack comes out faster and stuff like that. So she does have some decent tools to work with, and her throws, her back throw is obviously very, very good. So, I think the important part of the game here is going to be like is whiff punishing, because obviously Palutena does have a handful of moves that keeps her open. Isabelle does have a handful of moves that can punish from a good distance. So, we'll see what comes out on top here. But right now, Lights is looking pretty comfortable.
Yeah, at least at the moment, it's Zercon having trouble keeping up and really just getting batted around. Is able to take that? Wait, not quite yet. But still, those forward air combos might just be the saving grace for Mr. Zercon. It's very, very good with that slingshot. However, you have to think that the defensive movement of Lights is going to come in handy at some juncture. The wheel is going to be broken out yet again. And though they're not going to summon the 3 turnips that time, and that's okay because that's not when Zercon wanted to hit.
Yeah, Palutena's snare is definitely the wheel of morality, and she's telling us the lesson that we should learn.
Oh, beautiful. I knew you were going to work it in at some point, but I'm ashamed that I didn't come up with it myself because I love the wheel of morality. Either way. Oh, going to air dodge away, and this is kind of where you get yourself into trouble against Lights, is under the stage, especially with that Palutena. Certainly, it was unfortunate for WebJP to find out in that round prior, but Zercon, it could be a very painful lesson learned if they are not careful.
Yeah, and the good part for Zercon is that that's something that does work now. I believe you can combo dash attack into forwarder. I think at specific percent where it'll work. But Baxter again still proven to be very good for Isabelle. So not a terrible deficit for Zercon to make up here. But Lights has been very, very solid in this bend not break sort of play style.
And, I mean, it was a good roll behind into back throw. You just have to take care of that second stock at some point, for certain. But at the same time, I'm seeing a lot of rolls come out. And if you roll long enough, if you roll just too often, let's say, rather, you're going to get it punished at some point, especially since rolls scale in this game. So forward throw is going to allow Zercon to set up, excuse me, but I don't know. Zercon is going to have to get in and get a grab, and you're going to have to maneuver around without getting these rolls that you're relying on. Good nair to get their distance. Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful way to keep Lights off of the ledge and away from the stage. Zercon, you know what? Don't blink because that Isabelle can catch right on up to you.
Yeah, that was a great exchange on the ledge right there. As we get that MHG replay to take a look at what happened here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it looks like. I mean, after Mr. Zercon was able to get that follow-up string with the neutral air. It looks like he just scared Lights and they're covering too low. It looks like it was going to be a lose-lose situation there. And good stuff on his part, man. That's one game in the books in the best of 5. So you take them where you can get them.
It was a little scary, right? You didn't really realize if Zercon had that in the bag or not, but all of a sudden a roadmap to victory has unfolded before our intrepid K9 hero. And even though this is a best of 5, you still got to win 2 more against Lights. Oh, but here we go. You have earned the respect of Lights enough for them to break out the main. So here comes the ZSS, and perhaps those slingshot strings become just a little bit tougher to connect. But just as I say that, Zercon gets 2 in a row. That's how you start building confidence.
Yeah, let's see how the Chozo lady does against the dog in a pencil skirt. Right now, not doing too bad just yet. Again, I imagine this matchup's a lot of the same, but Isabelle does have tools to disrupt in the mid-range against ZSS with quick moves like forward air and back air. So, at the same time, it is Zero Suit Samus. So we'll see how it all shakes out here.
Winds up connecting with that balloon just fine, and eventually with Isabelle on the back air. As Lights going to pop the balloons yet again, and that seems to be the saving grace upon the recovery, is just having those balloons as a protective barrier for your recovery. But if you're Zercon, you can't really rely on that forever. You know that Lights is going to get the timing down eventually, and certainly the burial into the boost kick is going to seal that first stock for Lights.
Yeah, great stuff right there. The classic ZSS, moving ever so flowingly into each other, the grounded flip jump into the boost kick. So Mr. Zercon does have his work cut out against him, and now Lights can, do that thing he does so well, which is, take a lead and sit on it. Zero Suit Samus having some of the best defensive options in the game to keep you at bay. So let's see if Mr. Zercon can break zone and take care of that.
Zercon right now trying to hang on, has done pretty well to at least maintain the gap. Good up throw, but Lights right now just needing to get back to the stage and does so successfully. I'd have to think that the advanced, obviously Palutena is no slouch in terms of movement, but this is ZSS that you're talking about. How does Zercon counteract this?
It's hard, man. Zero Suit Samus has, such great vertical height, but also having great horizontal range. It's really, really frustrating if you don't have like a great, if you're not quick enough to disrupt. And that's a good way of doing things, though. The fishing rod is a great grounded option for Zercon right there to get the kill. But again, those are a dime a dozen. You have to be really careful. And Lights puts a good out of shield option right there. Ooh, is he gonna be able to make it back? He does.
Yeah, Zercon, it should be noted, in Winners Final, this is the first time that they've actually played in DNA since Season 7, Week 8, and they actually wound up winning that tournament all the way through Winners Side, beating Dylan in Winners Final, a ZSS, make a note of that, and eventually Beast in Grands by a score of 3-2, so definitely has experience with this character, but there's no experience quite like Lights Online as they have Zercon at the gates of death in this game number 2, 2 stocks to 1, and Lights has not suffered much damage at all.
Yeah, no, that was a very clean stock for him to take right there. Zercon was just on the back foot for what felt like the entirety of the stock. And again, he's going to have this work cut out for him. I'm not exactly sure how well Isabelle does in these comeback situations, but we will soon find out, Stu.
It looks like Zercon might be finding out right now whether they like it or not. Now, the whole issue is if you are Zercon, that's the thing. You're hanging out under the stage, and it doesn't matter if they're playing Palu or ZSS. Lights knows exactly how to punish you if you if you think that you're safe on your recovery, you are not. If you think that you can avoid Lights is coming for you. And trying to get a little aggressive with the flip kick winds up being a rather fancy movement option, which, to be fair, it is. Pockets Paralyzer, but that's only good if you can get back to the stage.
Yeah, that'll definitely aid in the comeback, nonetheless. But you see Zercon being very selective with it, wanting to not waste it, but it does not matter. The Plasma Whip will say curtains as Lights with a 2 stock in the second game of this event.
Yeah, and that's the way that you assert yourself in a set, isn't it? You kind of stop toying around with the Palutena, who's serving you well, don't get me wrong, but Zercon's still able to take that game, and now you're the ZSS. You are facing off against the full fury of Lights, and while you're definitely capable of going for the timeouts and all the sorts of, like, the patient play that we know Lights for, that's not the thing that you're going for exactly. You want to make a statement to this insolent pup that has come before you. So now if you're Zercon, you're on the back foot. Luckily, you have stage selection advantage. And that was rather quick. I do kind of wonder if we're getting a run back. But if you're Zercon, what's your choice here?
We'll see where you win. I don't think Battlefield is an awful... he's just going to run it back. Or is that Small Battlefield? No, it's Small Battlefield. Okay.
Small Battlefield. Interesting.
Yeah, I guess keeping that middle area open, to maybe take away an escape option for Zero through Samus will help. Maybe having the smaller blast zones off the side will help.
Yeah, no. Now we're going to... Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't...
No, you're good. I was just going to say, we'll see if it makes a difference here. Oh! That is
something made a difference. I'll say that as Zercon. I think the saying is we take those, Koopa.
Yeah, no, that was an excellent use of the slingshot to eat that second jump. Again, Zero Suit Samus's recovery is very good as long as she has all of her resources available to her. And if you just take one of those resources away, it just obviously makes things way harder. And that was just a great snipe from Mr. Zercon.
I mean, they had to know that it was coming, and you were getting a little far out there, so what else can Zercon do but take advantage of that? Eating the second jump, Lights no chance to get back, and now almost a full stock lead. That's something for Lights to close down upon. Looking for the mash out into the down smash. Looking for that there, but Zercon timing these out beautifully, keeping this first stock fresh here, Koopa.
Yeah, no, that was an excellent save right there from Zercon. Maybe I like the attempt there from Lights, probably realizing that he might have not had enough time to get the boost kick out of it, but there we go. The plasma will take that stock, so definitely nowhere near out of it right now with Lights.
A wayward plasma whip is going to be taking the first stock off of Mr. Zercon, and that is a rough way to go, honestly. If you're Mr. Zercon, you're priding yourself on your movement and how educated you are going up against these individuals, but then you're finding yourself right on the tip of that plasma whip, and that has to hurt your pride just a little bit.
A bit. Your feelings are definitely a little bit hurt. But continuing to hold on to this lead, though, and the up throw with the fishing rod will spell curtains. So Mr. Zercon is, one game away from moving ahead here in the rubber game.
Yeah, so now if you're Zercon, it's right at your doorstep. All you got to do is pick it up, and you've got yourself a victory over the one, if not the best, Wi-Fi ZSSs on the planet. Now, how do you seal this out, though? You can't get into your own head right now, right?
No.
Can't possibly.
Oh. Okay, that's what he was building before. No work. Yeah, again, you have to keep playing that game, man. A steady diet of forward airs and back airs and anything you can do to disrupt Zero Suit Samus on landing or on approach for you.
Here's going to take a... Oh, wow, yeah. Gyroid actually working for Mr. Zercon. So that's the privilege that you get when you're Mr. Zercon. The gyroid actually comes through for you. And I don't know. It's kind of shocking to see ZSS get caught up in that so thoroughly, because I just see people fall out of gyroid way too often. But I don't know if it's just it can't just be that it works for Zercon because it works. There's got to be something that Zercon's doing correctly.
Right. No, he's definitely just picking his spots really well, obviously. And his lead trapping's been very, very solid as well. So. Again, Lights still on the raw end of things, but slowly but surely mounting his comeback. Mr. Zercon definitely has to be feeling the heat right now. He's having a really hard time carrying the spot.
Flip kick is going to bring Isabelle right back down to earth. This pupper has been flying for a little bit too long, says Samus Aran. But it's going to be the back throw that winds up putting Lights off into the blast zone. Why was I about to say that Lights was the Isabelle? I think we both know better than that, Koopa. But nevertheless, it's the fishing rod that is keeping Lights at bay, knowing that it is a little sketchy, but nevertheless, there is nothing sketchy about that. If you are in the net, you are well within the grasp of Mr.Zercon, and a game taken off of that ZSS could go a long way mentally, but certainly that 2 on the scoreboard is going to go just a little bit further for Mr.Zercon, at least at the very moment. That first stock might have been the key.
Yeah, all that set up by the very late lingering hitbox of the back air on the slingshot. And yeah, excellent stuff right there from the Shih Tzu with the government job. Moving on, or at least putting themselves one step closer to moving on into grand finals, as we see the highlights here, and that back throw from Isabelle and Villager too. They both have, I think both their back throws have like the same. They're at least very similar in their knockback and stuff like that. So definitely a very, very strong option. Again, that's what happens, man. You when you take that lead, you do everything in your power not to seize it. Mr. Zercon did an excellent job of not breaking right there. So we'll see if he has enough in the tank to take it to grand finals, or if we'll see a game 5 here soon.
Oh, but this disadvantage is going to be tough, and eventually Zercon having to eat this much damage just to get back to the stage, that presents a very clear path to victory for Lights, and right now has very real chance of getting a 0 to death. Welcome to the compilation, Mr. Zercon.
Yeah, excellent stuff right there from Lights. Mr. Zercon having a rough going at that first stock.
I mean, just had no chance. As soon as they lost advantage state, Lights knew exactly what to do. Turned on the Jets and made sure that the pup had no chance of getting back.
Yeah, that is a bad dog.
Absolutely. You actually got smacked around with the newspaper just a little bit. Oh no, here comes the hammer. Zercon dropping the hammer right on the exposed head of Samus Aran. Have you no shame? This I don't know why I did that.
The squeaky hammer is very funny. It's so funny.
I would love to see a reskin of MK11 with Shao Kahn with Isabelle's hammer. That would be amazing, and it makes the squeaks too.
That would be that would make my 2020.
Someone please make that happen. But either way, we're going to get back to the game at hand at the very least, as Lights getting back and dared right into the blast, and not quite. Yeah, that weren't able to follow up on it, and well, Zercon was able to get back, but only for so long, as Lights is able to follow up. That's still a full stock lead. I don't think you're too concerned about that if you're Lights, because you know how to hold on to a lead.
Yeah, it was definitely looking scary there for a second, but Light's able to clean up the stock, and he's up huge right now. So, is he just going to do that ZSS thing that he does so well? Like I said, just use his range to his advantage, not have to press if he doesn't need to, and having a plethora of great out of shield options in case Zercon does get through his nearly impenetrable wall.
It's going to take something special for Mr. Zercon to bring this to finish the setup at 4 games, and it's not like Zercon is incapable. In fact, they've proven that they are quite a few times in tri-state tournaments alone. But in order to make it into grand finals unscathed for the first time since season 7, they're going to have to take down the ZSS. And again, out of 3 games, Lights has gotten victories by 2 stocks twice. That is a tough proposition, and certainly something that's a little bit tougher to come back from than it's easier said than done. Let's just put it that way, Koopa.
Yeah, no, that was a rough one for Mr. Zercon. So it's been a closely contested sets, dude. Whoever comes in, comes out the gates first in the last couple of games has proven to be the victor. So it'd be foolish to think otherwise with this next game coming up. So see how it all shakes out in this game number 5.
And I get the feeling that we're in this one for the long haul, whether it's Zercon trying to run and make the ZSS perhaps try to overextend, or if it's going to be or if it's going to be the opposite way around, because we know that Lights is able to do that. And here we go on Town and City, a wide open space for Zercon to operate in. Then again, I don't think you're exactly hurting if you're Lights either.
No, not at all. But we'll see if Town and City here is the remedy that Mr. Zercon needs. Obviously, giving himself a lot of space to play with. So, and also having a couple of extra platforms off the ledge to maybe aid him in getting back to the stage. When Zero Suit Samus is doing a really good job patrolling the low recovery. So we'll see if it makes a difference or not.
Lights has not really played in many tournaments, at least at all this week, but last week finishing first in quite a few of them. Among them was a 171 entrant tournament called Key's Belated Birthday Bash, if you're familiar with that name, beating the likes of Quark and BR1AV along the way, and indeed an individual by the name of Kirby Kid. Guess who they played?
King K. Rool.
Yeah, you got it. So
Hey,
I thought I'd fool you, but you know your stuff. Good job.
I had 2 bowls of cereal today. I am unstoppable.
And yet you chose to play Sonic Forces, so don't give me that. So King Chris catching Zercon with the down air, and a relatively even game number 2. I'm kind of surprised that, I guess surprised isn't the word, but I am definitely impressed by how efficient Zercon has been with their offense, trying to use those projectiles to dictate where Lights is going to go, and honestly, hitting Lights more often than perhaps one would expect.
Yeah, well, this game is definitely a lot closer than the last 2 have been, or the last one at very least. The second stock has been very close. That F smash almost sealing the deal right there for Lights, or for Mr. Zercon, excuse me.
Trying to catch landing with the down smash, but getting out, mashing out just in time to avoid the full force of that boost kick. And that is a fortunate one for Zercon, sitting at 109%. Not too big a gap to make up, and indeed, all it takes is one F smash to give themselves a decisive lead going into the last moments, or an up smash will do too. I describe that as being within the margin of error, Koopa.
Yeah, no, that's there's definitely a margin to be within there. Let's see if Mr. Zercon can hold on to this lead and how far he can extend things. Isabelle's up to the low defense, very, very good at racking up damage. And there you see the high ceiling of Talented Cities to come into play. Mr. Zercon getting a second breath here on his second stock.
And that might just be the where the counterplay comes in. You want someplace where you know you're going to get a win. Oh, beautifully executed punish on the missed boost kick. And now you have Lights all the way up to 60%. Yeah, that high ceiling, it provides a lot of utility and gives yourself just a little bit of a chance to survive those boost kicks if you do, in fact, get hit. Most of your kills are probably going to come off of the side anyway if you're Isabelle, but here you go. Only so much you can do, and the individual taunts into the teabag. Lights says you're going to have to bring your best, but the popper comes out. Pop some bottles, baby. You are going on to grand finals. Mr. Zercon with the upset.
Yeah, no, great stuff there from Mr. Zercon. Isabelle putting in a new ordinance, and that is that she will be competing in grand finals. If we take a look at the highlights here, and that missed boost kick, man, that's definitely going to be one that I'm sure haunts Lights in his sleep.
I mean, to answer the question, is that all? The answer was no. I'm just
no. There's a little bit more. There's a little bit more.
Yeah, there was just a tad more, not much more. I don't want to just put out the 4 words that would describe what exactly that situation entailed, but yes, it usually involves you pressing the directional pad in the middle of the game and then immediately losing your stock afterwards. So I'll just put that out there in the ether. If someone wants to put that into their compilation clip, by all means.